Hi guys, welcome to The Bite. My name is Jackie. Today I have a really quick, delicious soup that I've been making very frequently during this pregnancy. This is my take on a Korean silken tofu soup, which is called Sundubu Jigae. Normally I have all my ingredients kind of measured out, but today I have the packages out just so that in case you're not familiar with the ingredients, you can kind of get a visual of the one that I have, and you can see kind of what it looks like a little bit better, so that way if you want to go get it, you have a better visual. So let me show you what you're gonna need. It's a really, when I say quick and easy, from start to finish, probably about 15 minutes max, minus the fact that you'll probably need some rice on the side. So let me show you what you're gonna need. So what's most common in this soup is starting off with garlic and green onions. So I'm starting off with those. You can use as much or as little of them as you want. And then you can use whatever veggie. I like to use one whole zucchini. Number one, because it's in season, and I also just really happen to love zucchinis. So this is the veggies that I'm using. I also have one package of silken tofu soup. We'll be using the whole package today. And like I said, this is a silken tofu soup, but if you can't find it or you don't prefer the texture of this one, you can use a soft one or a firm one. This is just what it's known for. And then onto the condiments. Some of these may be familiar, some of them may not. I'll start with some of the more familiar ones like soy sauce. This just happens to be my favorite brand, but you can use whichever brand that you like. We're only gonna use a little bit just to season the soup. I also have some fish sauce. Not necessary if you want to keep it vegan, but I do feel like this adds a bit of umami flavor. They do, I think, make vegan and vegetarian versions of fish sauce as well. But again, this is my favorite brand. This is also optional. This is a Japanese soup base, but you can totally leave this out, especially if you do have fish sauce. But this is just like a dashi broth, so it's not common in this soup. But again, it just adds a little bit more umami flavor. But if you want to leave this out, feel free to do so. These three, I think, are a little bit more necessary. So this is kimchi. This is basically, it's like fermented pickled cabbage, and it is spicy. You can get some that are mild, like I have here. Normally I like the Korean brands, but you know, we're in quarantine. We're trying to avoid all of the stores that we don't really have to go to. So I just got this from my regular grocery store. And these two, this is a Korean hot pepper paste, and this is Korean hot pepper powder. I like to use both of these. This one I know is very typical in this soup, and you can find these at Asian grocery stores. This kind of looks like red pepper flakes that you would put on pizza, but you can get some that are less spicy than others. It all depends on your preference. And this kind of looks like a mix between ketchup and barbecue sauce. Looks like it, doesn't taste like it, but it adds a really good spicy and slightly sweet and smoky flavor, and I love it. So now that we've got that all out of the way, I'm gonna start chopping. I've got some rice steaming back here so we can eat that with our soup, and let's get to it. So if you've been following me for a little bit, you know my deep love for Asian food, especially if you follow me on Instagram, because I'm always making or eating some sort of Asian food, typically Japanese or Korean. So that's why I just have like major cravings for this during my pregnancy. But anyways, veggies are all chopped, including the kimchi, because I like to chop that up a little bit, but let's head to the stove. So I've got a medium saucepan that I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of vegetable oil. I like to use vegetable oil when I'm cooking Asian food because it doesn't have a strong flavor like olive oil does. You can also use avocado oil here. I'm gonna put this on medium-high heat, and I'm going to add all the chopped green onions and the garlic. So the garlic and the green onions are sizzling, they are looking good, and to this I'm going to add the Korean red pepper powder. And this is what it looks like, kind of similar to, again, the what you kind of put on pizza. Just the one that I have in particular is not as spicy as that one. So I'm going to add 2 heaping tablespoons, but you don't have to add this much. And I'm also going to add about a tablespoon's worth of gochujang, which is the Korean red pepper paste. So I like to add this here because I feel like it just kind of wakes up these spices a little bit, and it's easier for the gochujang to melt. The soup is traditionally eaten quite spicy, so it's looking very fiery in here, but this makes me very, very happy. So I'm also gonna add all the kimchi that I chopped. And now to this, we can add in our seasonings, starting with the soy sauce. I like to add 2 to 3 tablespoons of soy sauce and give that a mix as well. This is very much to your own taste. So this is how I like it, but if you like it with more soy sauce and less fish sauce, go ahead and do it like that. Next, I'll add the fish sauce, and I add about maybe 1.5 teaspoons worth of fish sauce. Actually, maybe about 2 teaspoons worth. And to me, that is good. But for the soup base, I like to add a little bit more, just because I like the flavor of that to come through a little bit better. So I add a couple tablespoons of this because this is quite salty because this is already comes seasoned. So this is pretty much the soup base. I know that I've seen some YouTubers actually freeze this, maybe with some meat. And you can just kind of have this ready in the freezer, whip it up with a little extra water, and you have a soup. But I think this is so quick to make fresh, so I don't think it's necessary to do that. So now I'm going to add in all my chopped zucchini right in there. Just mix this all up. And of course, this is a soup, so you're gonna need some liquid. So I'm just using water. You can also use whatever stock that you have. But this was 2 cups of water. I'm gonna add probably another 2 cups, and that will be a sufficient amount. At this point, I like to add a little bit of salt just to enhance the flavors. I'm gonna let this come to a boil, and at that point, I like to add in my tofu. The soup has come to a boil. It's looking good. I did lower the heat a little bit, and now I'm going to add in my tofu, and we're pretty much done after that. I'm just using the same spoon that I got the pepper paste from, so if the tofu looks red, that's why. But so here is the traditional way to do it. Again, this is just what was on the spoon, but you take scoops of it, like big chunks. If you like it smaller, you can do it, but this is the traditional way. I'm gonna just let this cook for another couple of minutes, and we are ready to eat. So here's the soup. This is what it looks like. Now here's the thing. Traditionally, this soup is served boiling hot, and it's brought to you, if you get it at a restaurant, in a clay pot that the soup is actually cooked in. And what they do is they crack an egg on top, and it cooks. You can either mix it or kind of like, I don't know, braise it in the soup. I usually prefer it without the egg because I'm not a fan of runny yolks. But this is just my simple homemade version. I don't have a clay pot, and I think any heavy bottom pot will work just as fine. So I know it's not 100% traditional, but it is delicious nonetheless, and it completely satisfied my craving. So here's what I like to do. I like to take some rice, and I like it in a separate bowl just because that's how they would do it in the tofu houses. We used to go like late at night, after a night out or whatever, and we would hit these places up and get some soup, and it was just so warming. It was like a warm hug after, you know, your fun night. It smells so good. You can always taste for seasonings and add more salt or soy sauce or whatever as you wish, but this to me is perfect. Alrighty, now I like to add a little bit of sesame oil to my rice. You can also add it to the soup as well while it's cooking, or as a finishing oil right on top. And then you just take a spoonful of the rice and then dip it in the soup. So good. If you've never tried this soup, I highly recommend that you give it a try, especially if you are a lover of spicy foods and Asian foods like I am. This really, really hits the spot, and it's such a good late night food. I know it's weird to make a soup late at night, but this is so quick. It's ridiculous, seriously. It's amazing. So I hope you give this a try. Again, it's not traditional, but it's my version that I really enjoy making, and I wanted to share with you because when I posted it on Instagram, I got lots of questions. So I figured why not just share it with everybody. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget all of the ingredient list and the directions will be in my blog, which you can find in the description down below. Follow me on Instagram for more ideas and just like a little sneak peek of what I'm cooking and what is to come on The Bite. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.